Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome! I am so excited we're back for another monthly wrap up, which is something that I never thought. I'm just, okay, hear me out. I am so proud of this channel because it's become my baby. It's the second month of a monthly wrap up, monthly favorites, and I just love being here. It's my favorite place to be at the moment. So jokes aside, I hope you're well. I hope you had a great November, and I hope you're having a very cozy time because this is what we're all about. I just want to talk about the books that I read throughout the month of November. I don't have many books this month. I read a book that I will talk about later that just took up so much of my time that I could have read just about 3 books in the meantime. That is absolutely fine. That is something that I really want to talk about on my channel. It doesn't matter how much you read and how many books you read every month or every week. All that matters is how much you enjoy a book and how much you get from those books, because I'd rather read less books, but the ones that I read I'm gonna love, instead of DNFing a book. I said it. Spill the tea. This is what I'm all about, sorry. But yes, thank you so much for being here again. I have 4 books that I read this month, and we'll just chat through them and see if they were good, if they were not good, or if you might like them. I feel like this month has been very hit or miss. I had some books that I loved and some others that were a bit of a okay. Let's start from the first one. There was actually an audiobook. I'm just going to put it up there. It's The Burning Girls. Okay, this book was part of my TBR from Halloween, so it was still a horror book. It's insanely gothic, and you might love it if you love a horror book. It's very bleak, that's the right word. It's very, everything felt very bleak and very, I enjoyed it, but I feel like it's something that I would give 3 stars to. The story is about this mother and daughter. The mother is a vicar, and she's going to be the vicar of this new town. It's a very small town. She used to be in a much bigger town in the UK, and she starts to get used to the new community. She gets to know people, and some of them turn out to be not the people that she thought they were. There's an amazing set of tricks and twists, and if you love twists in a book, this is perfect. I felt like the story was really interesting. The only thing is that part of the book was completely unnecessary to me. I actually listened to it as an audiobook, and it was beautiful. The way it was narrated, absolutely insane. So it was really easy to keep up with it, but at the same time I feel like most chapters, they were just a bit of a filler, and the way that they were narrated, it was still with that sort of horrific atmospheric narration that it was just okay. Like, I get it, you want to make a horror book. The characters were spectacular. The relationship between the mother and the daughter, beautiful. I love both characters actually, and it's the first time that I come through a teenager that is actually well written, because everyone just writes teenagers like these rebellious kids that they will just not listen to their parents, not listen to anyone, they will just do whatever they want. But this is actually well balanced. I just love the dynamics between the characters, and I feel like the whole story itself, if you love anything that's horror and supernatural and a bit historical, because it's based on the story of these burning girls that were some martyrs back in the, I think, 16th century, if I'm not mistaken, who were burnt at the stake because they were thought of witchcraft. So the setting is amazing. The whole research about the book is really interesting, and I feel like I just felt I was into the book. I would probably round it up between 3 and 4 stars, just because I felt like sometimes I was losing the grip of the story and I wasn't going back to it. And again, it didn't really work out for me. It's not that it could not work out for anyone else. But yes, if you want to pick that up, carry on, because it's a very interesting read. The second book I read is Into the Woods by Tana French. This book, it's big. This is the one that I was talking about before. This is 650 pages. It doesn't seem like it, but it's really big. How can I describe this book? This is a thriller murder mystery set in Ireland, and this girl is a teenage girl. She gets killed, and there's a whole research about the mystery, what's happening. It's a very crime story because the story is about the two main detectives, and I found it extremely interesting how the whole research was explained. The author knew what she was doing. It was really great to read that. I unfortunately didn't like the ending at all, because I just felt like the book was building up this huge climax and never arrived. So it was a bit of a letdown, especially when it's a 600 pages book. I mean, you'd expect a by page. I actually put a sign here. So at page 486, we have the first suspect. And I don't know, I just felt like when it's one of those books that it's, you know, very high-paced thriller books, you just expect something else, a bit of an extra twist, or you know, something like that. It was just that kind of took stars away from me, and I would give this 3 stars, not rounded up, no rounded down. The third book, on the other hand, it's Case Study by Graham McRae Burnett. This book, it's 5-star. This is probably one of my favorite books from 2022. I was so excited to read it. I had high hopes, but this book was a journey. If you're interested in books that are about psychology and mysteries about psychology as well, and if you like something that it's never what it seems until the very last page, this is for you. And it's just 300 pages? What is it? It's 300 pages, and it's so much, it's so dense, it's so hard to talk about this. So it's basically set in London in 1965. So it's basically at the beginning, there's the preface of this book. It's really important because it's set in 2019, and it seems like it's the author writing it because it's signed GMB, which is, you know, the name of the author, but it's never confirmed. And it's this author, let's say that, he finds some documents that a person sends to him about these diaries and studies in regards of this psychotherapist who's very, very, very controversial. And it seems that the author starts this research throughout the diaries and letters and personal studies as well about this woman that seemed to have lost her sister. And after that, she goes back to this same psychotherapist, and she starts to create this whole new persona to see what he's actually on about. She loses herself in this new persona, and the whole book becomes a study of how this person creates a new side of her to deal with her past, the loss of her sister, also to become more like this psychotherapist that at the same time he's not who he thinks he is and what people think he is. Some people think he's a genius, some other people think he's absolutely out of his mind. It's so interesting the way it's written and the way you arrive until the very last page and you're like, so is this real? Is this not real? Was it me making up the whole story the whole time? I would recommend this book to anyone who's into interpersonal studies, and if you're interested in how human psyche changes when we're in relation to other people or certain events in our life. This is gorgeous. I'm so sad that this wasn't shortlisted for the Booker Prize, because this is actually long listed. Yeah, but this was up there as a winner. Please pick this one up, give it a read, and I'm sure you will not be disappointed. The last book I read, no surprise, Legends and Lattes. Something very interesting about this book, I was not gonna pick it up. Absolutely not, because I felt like it was very childish and it was so hyped up on social media, Instagram, on Goodreads as well, that I thought it was just going to be one of those, you know, fantasy books for probably young adults, I would say, that is still interesting, but it just sounded like a fan fiction, let's say. But oh my goodness, this book is a 5 stars. It's just the coziest book you will ever read. The description here at the front, spot on. High fantasy, low stakes, good company. Nothing else to say. So it's a story of this orc. She's called Viv, and she's tired of killing people and going on adventures and slaying monsters, and she just wants to save up her money and work towards her main dream, which is opening a coffee shop. It's just so cute because they don't know what coffee is, and she keeps describing it as being water, and it's just so yeah, she opens up this cafe and she starts building the whole community around that. People who keep, you know, returning customers, co-workers, partners, and it's just so wholesome. I don't know why I've never read anything like this, and I really hope the second book will come really soon, because I know that the second book will be all about the background story of these characters, which I feel like is probably one of the main plot holes in the book. There's not much background. We don't really know anything about them. We just know that they are there for that reason, and we know that, for example, Viv, the main character, we know that she's just fed up with her past, but we don't really know what actually happened. But this is just such a win. I wanted something to read really quickly and something that would make me feel very cozy, and yes, it's just gorgeous. Just stands up to the hype, and please pick this one up because it's gorgeous. And also, this is it's a hardback cover, of course, but it's the UK version. I think it's European or UK version, and the cover is really great. But if you're a fan of the original cover, it's just on the inside. And yeah, so this book made me cry at the end, which is something that I would have never expected from this. But I just feel like sometimes you just have to try things that you thought you might not enjoy. You might end up enjoying them more than you thought you would. So this is my wrap up for the month of November, and I cannot wait to do this again in December. I have so many good reads for next month, and I really hope that I'll be able to read as much as I can and suggest you new good books that you might enjoy as well. So please keep it up with my channel. If you enjoyed this content, just put a like, little comment, and just subscribe to it so you'll know what comes next. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye!